Hello everybody, this is Allshouse Gaming, and welcome to our new series, Xcom Chimera Squad. This is something that I played a while ago. I know it wasn't as well received as some of the mainline XCOM games, but I really enjoyed this one. It did something different that the other ones didn't do, and I liked it. Plus, you guys know how much I like my turn-based tactical games. As I state at the beginning of any series, I do my audio testing, but I obviously can't account for everything. If there's anything about this that's too quiet or too loud, be it the microphone or whatnot, let me know in the comments section. Also, something to bear in mind. Cutscene dialogue and volume is all linked to master volume, so if I have to adjust that, then I have to adjust everything else as well. Just something to bear in mind. Now then, without further ado, let's get this started. Oh, also, anybody who's watched one of my XCOM 2 games will know that this is modded. There will be a list of mods in the description below, and, well, you can check that out. There are a couple of mods I will talk about very briefly. But other than that, I'm going to be playing on normal. We will not be doing Iron Man. We will not be doing hardcore mode. I don't really need the extended city anarchy. I did fine without it. I will be doing the tutorial for two reasons. One, 3 of the units that we get from the tutorial are actually ones I was going to pick anyways. And 2, there is some story that we get from the tutorial that we wouldn't quite get otherwise. Also, I'm going to go with half heal for in-between encounters. And for those of you who don't get what that means, well, you'll find out.
Two minutes out.
Hey, Godmother. Is this like the old days? XCOM swooping in and taking it to the bad guys?
I wouldn't know. I spent most of the war training resistance networks.
Like mine. And for your many, long years of service.
Watch it.
XCOM attaches you to an untested squad and pushes it into the field before it's ready. How is this not like the old days?
I'm just happy to be here. I missed out during the war. Wish I could have pulled my weight.
For which side, exactly?
I find that very hurtful.
Sure thing, Advent.
We are through the checkpoint.
I was never actually Advent.
But they were fitting you for a blocky helmet.
Stow it, both of you. We're here. 3-1 PD gave us the all clear. Grab your gear and prepare to move in. Whisper, what's your status?
And what's Verge's ETA?
Comms are working, obviously. Verge is en route.
How? Verge can't drive.
He hailed a cab.
To a hostage situation?
Focus. Whisper, any surprises in the next room?
A handful of hostiles, unaware of your approach.
Chimera Squad, take positions. Prep for breach.
So yeah, this is one of the big changes of Chimera Squad. Actually, that's 2 of the big changes that we saw. Characters actually have personality. The units you're using, I know I'm broken record, but they have personality, and I really like that. I like the interactions between them. They're more than just the faceless, well, I don't want to say faceless, but the personality-less soldiers that you had in XCOM 2. This does come, however, with a drawback that we will get into later, but this is the other main change. Breaching. Chimera Squad begins every mission by setting up at a breach points to get the jump on enemies. Yes, we are not soldiers, we are basically a SWAT team. And the story of this is that this takes place years after we've freed the planet from Advent. And this is one of the cities where humans, hybrids, and aliens are trying to live together in peace. But of course, it doesn't work that way. Anyways, preview the enemy presence at each breach points and modifiers that will be applied, then assign agents to the available slots to determine the order they enter the fight. For this one, this really doesn't matter which order. However, something to bear in mind is that most breach points will have certain modifiers. Pinpoint. Successful shots on the enemy will crit. Now, because order on this doesn't matter, I'm just going to toss in Cherub, Godmother, and Terminal. And then we breach through. Now, some of the times there's only going to be one entryway, sometimes there will be more than one. And as you can see, encounter 1 of 3. Yeah, missions on this one are no longer wide, expansive maps. They are, I guess you could say, set pieces.
Breaching in.
Now, once we breach in, we basically freeze time and get to look at our available enemy targets. Only got 3 that we can see, but I can tell you right now, more often than not, there's going to be more enemies from a breach that you cannot see. You can cycle through the different enemies and select your actions. Normally, at least in this tutorial, we only have breach fire, which you take a shot at an enemy, whether you hit them or not, depends on different things. We also have access to Order Surrender. This is one of the mods that I am going to be using. What this does is it allows you to basically yell at an enemy and order them to surrender, potentially panicking them for the rest of the encounter. Not only that, but it also makes it so that if you strike them at all, they go down immediately. Now then, response levels. This guy is surprised. Surprised enemies receive a defense penalty, which is actually more like a buff for us to hit them, and they won't react during the breach sequence. In other words, they do nothing. Now, alert enemies, the guy I killed, they do get an action. A non-aggressive action, but they get an action, like moving or getting ready, something like that. But unfortunately, I killed him before we could get the tutorial pop up. There's also a third type, aggressive. Aggressive enemies, if they are not eliminated, will take a shot at your soldiers, or troopers, operatives.
Hello, I am Mayor Nightingale.
Is that our hostage?
Welcome to City 31's Memorial Museum.
It's just a recording.
As I often say, the lessons from our past inform the present.
Blah, blah, blah. History.
Focus.
Turns and moving. This is the other major change from the main games. Rather than having your entire squad move, take care of their actions, and then the enemies move, the turns are determined, well, actually I'm not entirely sure how they're determined. But, as you can see from the timeline over here, we can move Cherub first, but then an enemy unit will move, and then it's back and forth. This one's a bit of a double-edged sword, because it means you can't just move your entire squad and then hope on the... and then plan out everything for when the enemy gets their turn, you have to plan in advance. Which I also do like. Injured enemies take their turn one at a time. Their current place in the turn order can be seen on the unit flag above their head and next to their portrait. A timeline which both update after each turn. Agents have 2 action points each turn to use for movement, shooting, or abilities. Look for a blue shield next to the... Look for a blue shield to move into cover for defensive bonuses before shooting, or move to outflank the enemy for a better chance to hit. Now then, as we can see, Cherub gets to move first, but this guy goes after him. We could move in and try to get the flank on this guy for an easy kill, but that would leave us exposed to this guy. Instead, I'm going to move Cherub over here.
Watch your flanks.
Now, I could take a shot at this guy, but it's only 56% chance. Instead, I think I'm going to Overwatch, and this is something else. Overwatch is no longer omnidirectional. You have to pick a direction in which to Overwatch.
You missed the shield!
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get to take shots on enemies that take action just when they move. Unfortunate, but oh well. Anyways, gonna move Godmother up here, take a shot at this guy.
Drop the
Nice.
hostile.
How did you manage that?
And then, we're gonna move Terminal up here, and even if she misses, it's just not gonna matter because Cherub goes before this guy.
You see that?
You see this?
Huh. Interesting.
Contact!
Clear.
Verge? What took you so long?
Had to unpack a breaching charge.
Good man.
Not exactly.
You know what I mean.
I always do.
So creepy. Don't ever change.
Verge, form up. Any hostiles in the next room?
Yes. I can feel them.
Thankfully, between each encounter, they do reload their weapons, so you don't gotta worry about that too much. Some encounters offer more than one breach point, with different risks and benefits. Consider whether to split the squad or send them all through at the same location, which we don't have that option for because only 2 slots on each. Agents enter the same breach point will enter the encounter together and will be closer in the timeline. The order the breach points will enter is shown next to the name and can be changed using the arrows. So in other words, the door up top, which we cannot see because it's focused on the main door, is considered the second one. We can change it to be the first one. Now then, seal the deal. Last unit through this entrance does +3 damage during the breach. So, I'm going to assign Verge and Godmother here. Closely watched, enemies deal +1 damage during the breach. For that, I'm going to send in Cherub and Terminal. And let's breach.
We shall move in.
Stay behind me.
Now then, Verge goes first. Let's see, he's got a 90% on that surprise trooper, but because he's in full cover, he gets bonus armor. And unless I do full damage, or at least 4 damage, he's not gonna die. There's also another ability we get, Cover Rush. Gain +75 defense and 75 dodge until this agent's turn. In other words, if you've got enemies that are going to shoot at you and you're not sure if you're going to be able to take them out, you can instead try for a Cover Rush and hope that they miss. But I'm going to take a breach fire on this surprise trooper and hope I get a kill. Bingo. And Godmother, go for this guy. Bigger threat. Now then. Aggressive. Aggressive enemies will shoot at Xcom if they aren't neutralized during the breach sequence. Kind of important we take this guy out, so please, Cherub. Good. That threat's eliminated. Let's see. Nope. Go for the surprise trooper, it's a guaranteed kill. Each agent has a unique ability they can use every turn, eventually gaining more abilities from their class and equipment. Most agents also have a subdue ability, a non-lethal attack that is low damage but guaranteed to hit. Use it to earn additional rewards and for certain mission objectives. Cherub uses the Charge Bash ability instead of Subdue. Yes, subduing enemies is actually very important. Remember, we are basically a SWAT team. We are not soldiers. We want to try and subdue these guys. Now, normally, for each enemy subdued, you get a 20% chance of gaining 20 intel, for a maximum of 100% chance of guaranteed 20 intel. So, efficiency, you're going to want to knock out at least 5 enemies per encounter if you can to try and get that intel. But I have intel per capture, so I'm actually going to be gaining intel for each soldier I capture rather than just a chance at one. Now then, Verge is one of my favorite units because of his, well, how do I put, what was the phrase for it? Neural network ability. Now, unfortunately, I can't show the details of it right now, but basically, whenever I use one of his psionic abilities, Stupor, Battle Madness, or future ones if I get them, the enemy, if successfully hit with it, will be added to a neural network. For each enemy on the neural network, Verge gains bonuses to aim and I believe other factors, but again, they escape me at the moment, so I can't quite remember them. Now, the beauty of this is that enemies that you knock unconscious using Subdue or other tactics are not killed, they're knocked unconscious, and they still count as being on Verge's neural network. So, depending on the encounter, you can make him a very powerful unit, and it's why he's one of my favorites. Anyways, for Verge, he's got Stupor. Verge psionically stuns a target for 1 to 2 actions, not turns. In other words, it reduces the amount of action points they have on their next turn, and if it's for 2 actions, then they can't move at all, and adds them to the neural network. The flip side is that you cannot target enemies in the neural network, so if you've already hit somebody with something, you can't hit them with something else. Let's see, let's use a stupor on the trooper in cover. Actually, no, this guy goes next. Stupor him.
My mind over yours.
Alright, 1 stun. That's fine. Battle Madness. Psionically attacks an enemy in enemy's mind, making them go berserk and attack a nearby target. Note that it says nearby target, not nearby enemy. What that means is that, well, they could target anyone. They could end up targeting your own troops, they could end up targeting their own allies, or they could end up targeting civilians, which is a very, very bad thing. Anyways, let's Battle Madness this guy.
No, no, no!
Now, you can easily tell what enemies are on the neural network based upon... Oof, that's not
Still
good.
on my feet.
This is why I
Based
keep me
upon the
around.
tendrils going from Verge to the enemy. Now, let's see. Godmother, let's get you moving over here, see if you can't get a flanking shot on that
Moving.
guy. He is the bigger threat. Now, enemies that are
One less
killed are removed from the
Nice.
neural network. Because, you know, they're dead. But enemies knocked unconscious do not count. Now, Cherub has Kinetic Shield, and I just realized I forgot to go over any of Godmother's abilities. Assuming she has enemy. I don't really use her all that much, sorry to say. Kinetic Shield. Cherub places an energy shield on self or ally. He can only do... Well, actually, he could, if you choose not to move, he could do 2. On self or ally to prevent all damage of the next attack. That means if you get attacked twice, assuming the first one hits, you will take damage from the second one. Cherub gains 1 charge when the energy shield is destroyed, and charge is important because charge bash. Cherub bashes an enemy with the energy shield, consuming all charge. If a charge is consumed, deal damage in a cone behind the enemy. Remember the Templars and how they could eventually gain this ability that when they attack, a wave of psionic energy rushes out behind the enemy that they hit? Yeah, it's basically that. Damage increases with charge, and it replaces his subdue. Well, I'm gonna knock this guy out.
Book 'em.
Set up the breaching charge.
I do like to make an entrance.
Some breach points can only be accessed with special equipment or abilities. Once an agent with the required asset is in the first slot, other agents can then be assigned. Explosive entrance. All non-aggressive enemies guarding this entrance are surprised, which means unless they're going to shoot at you, they're all going to end up in the surprise state. Now, you can only place agents in the first slot that have the equipment, and you cannot change this mid-mission. So be careful with who you pick. Obviously, Cherub's going to have to go in first, and the rest of the orders do not matter. Breach.
Wait, hold. Hostage confirmed in the next room.
We need more than that.
3-1 PD has a live feed. Patching through.
If you surrender, I will advocate leniency.
Enough. This exhibit, it is about Xcom's role in our liberation.
I see you read the placard.
It doesn't say how they went soft and got weak. Now, it's up to us to light the spark.
He's holding a detonator.
Go, now!
How's this for an entrance?
Okay. Hey, the guys are supposed to be surprised. They shouldn't be alert. Whatever. Let's see. Take the guaranteed shot on this guy. Let's see. Take the guaranteed shot on this one. Order to surrender would have a higher chance, but no. I should note, your chances with order to surrender have varying factors, like whether or not the troopers are under the effect of, say, disorient from a flashbang, or how long that this mission has been going on. Like, for missions that have multiple encounters, order to surrender is a lot more effective. Yeah, wasn't expecting a hit on that.
You're a Nightingale. I'll protect you.
Exterminating.
Cherub is down.
Terminal, stabilize him.
On it.
Verge, with me. Protect the mayor.
Confirmed.
Yeah, don't worry, that was entirely scripted. Agents that lose all their HP will begin bleeding out over several turns, indicated by the number in the timer. The mission will fail unless the agent bleeding out is saved with the stabilize ability or the encounter is completed before the timer expires. Yeah, that's the thing. If your agent dies, any of your agents die, you have to start the mission over. Or at the very least, start the encounter over. I do like that the characters have actual personality beyond what you make for them, or beyond basic personality. And this does make it more interesting, like the stakes are higher, but I don't know, like I said, this is a double-edged sword. Okay. Godmother, get in there and stabilize him. Let's see. Who's next? This guy? Or not this guy, this guy? Could try for a subdue. Ah. Figures.
Hostiles still up.
I could try for a subdue with... Terminal, but... Oh, right. Safeguard. Terminal sends the gremlin to an ally to restore 4 HP, cleansing, burning, acid, and poison effects. Grants 20 defense. Terminal can target themselves with Safeguard. Does not automatically end the turn. Not strictly necessary right now. Okay, go for the subdue on him. I'll have Verge
And stay down.
go for the stupor on the big guy over here. Well, I would if he could. He goes after the other guy. Okay, stupor him. And could I overwatch through this? No, I cannot. Okay. Went for the mare instead, huh? But he's overwatching into that direction, which means I can move in here. Take a shot at him. Let's see, and then I could go for the subdue, knock him out.
Another caller for the medic.
And he seems to be the one at charge, at least on this.
Could not arrest the hostile.
Damn it.
Taking fire, but it is poorly aimed.
Extremely poorly aimed. Also, before I forget once more, scattershot. Godmother fires a shotgun in a short-ranged cone, damaging multiple targets. Costs 2 ammo. But I don't think we need that. I want to get as much intel as I can early on.
Arrested the target. Mayor Nightingale. Are you alright?
It looks worse than it is. Those medic hits are really something.
Compliment accepted.
What about Cherub?
Yeah, I think so. Only thing injured is my pride.
And your diaphragm. And a few ribs.
None of this should have happened.
Most people say thank you.
I'm grateful, of course. But these people don't have the capability for any of this.
Explain.
I read their threat assessment. A month ago, these insurgents were all talk and no capability.
The greatest threat they posed was to bottles of alcohol.
Why tell us? Why now?
City 31 shows the world how humans, hybrids, and aliens can keep a lasting peace. I'm the public face of this. Tonight, someone wanted what I represent to go up in flames.
We're not in town for local intrigue.
I know, but right now you're the only ones I'm certain are fighting for that same peace. Can I count on your support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Chris at the museum, Whisper here, head back to base. We're going to need to debrief. From the 4 captured enemies, you earned 8 intel. Nice. And I'm going to be capturing a lot of enemies. Now, funnily enough, the dialogue actually changed here. She basically doesn't bring it up if you manage to get through it without her getting hurt. But whatever. Did what I could.
Package delivered to 31 PD.
She truly believes what she says.
That's why she's in charge.
Not too shabby for our first official mission.
Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Celebrate before a mission is complete. It's
bad luck.
Tonight, Mayor Nightingale perished in an explosion at City 31's Memorial Museum. The identity of her assailants is unknown at this time. The City Council asks citizens to remain...
So she gets vaporized the same day Xcom sends Chimera Squad to our city? You hear that voice in your head? That's me telling you to wake up!
Despite opposition, Mayor Nightingale's deciding vote brought the Reclamation Agency to the city. Without her support, Chimera Squad's continued presence is an open question.
Welcome home, Chimera Squad. The director wants to speak with us.
Thanks for getting the mayor killed. Also, you're fired.
That's not helpful.
You're right. I'm sorry.
I'll patch the call through when you're ready.
I followed your action at the museum, and its aftermath.
Director Kelly, I take full responsibility for what happened.
Stop. I sent you to City 31 because I believed you were ready. Tonight, you surpassed my expectations. 31 PD requested help within 3 hours of your arrival in the city. You answered immediately. Going in, you were under-equipped and down an agent. You adapted, as we trained you to do. And let's not forget, you rescued the mayor. You delivered her to safety as the city requested. Don't blame yourself for an outcome you couldn't control. Instead, let's focus on what's next.
I set up the map table. Ready when you are.
Head over there. I'll hold.
If you didn't do the tutorial, then you basically just get some dialogue. It's like, hey, welcome to the city. Afraid you don't get time to rest because the mayor was just assassinated. In a similar manner. Anyways, city map. This is basically going to be our geoscape for this game.
Welcome to City 31. During Advent's occupation, the city was a fortress supporting an active starport. 5 years after Xcom won the war, it's home to aliens, hybrids, and humans alike. There's new industry, self-government, and local agriculture to support the varied populations. Against all odds, this city thrived after the war. There were no retributive attacks.
Until tonight.
We don't know that. Not yet. But we can find out. 31 PD requested our help sifting through evidence at the Memorial Museum. They lost good officers today. Give them what they need and see what we can learn.
And for those of you who don't recognize her, yes, that is Jane Kelly, the first ranger you get if you play through the tutorial of the of XCOM 2. The map is where we see the status of City 31 and any current targets we can send our squad to respond to. Chimera Squad can respond to 1 target per day, after which the day automatically advances. Yeah, there's no sitting around waiting for things to happen on this one. You go out and you do stuff. View situation in the downtown district. Memorial Museum Aftermath. 31 PD needs help pouring through the aftermath of tonight's attack. Mayor Nightingale's death has the city on edge. Let's do what we can to help. Yeah, typically the way it goes in this is that you have a mission that you send the squad out to take care of things, and usually afterwards there's these, I guess you could call them investigations, where you don't have to do any combat, but things still happen. Anyways, let's send the APC. Sending the APC to resolve the situation will automatically advance the day. Are you ready to proceed? Yeah, you don't get to pick and choose each and every single thing on there. Whatever you don't pick, it's gonna have consequences. We've done what we can to aid 31 PD. Commissioner Malouf passed along her thanks for helping her officers bear the weight of this attack.
Your work with 31 PD opened a few doors. Here's what we know. A crude plasma bomb killed the mayor. The insurgents had no access to materials for that.
Does that mean they had outside help?
Most likely. There are 3 groups in City 31 with access to this kind of ordnance.
Yep. Progeny, Grey Phoenix, and Sacred Coil, even though you can't really see it. Choose a faction to be the investigation target. The target faction cannot be changed until it's resolved. I will say this, your final mission in confronting these guys changes depending on the order in which you choose to investigate them. In my first playthrough, I went Grey Phoenix, Sacred Coil, the Progeny. I think I'm going to change it up and go Sacred Coil, the Progeny, and Grey Phoenix. Sacred Coil, an underground religious movement for hybrids. They preach salvation, but only to those who once fought XCOM, aka remnants from Advent. These guys use, well, a lot of robotics. But I think we'll do fine against them. Let's go after the Sacred Coil.
Sacred Coil is what happens when former Advent officers find religion, or create one. They claim to be the true path for City 31's hybrids, as long as that path involves armed sedition.
Director, these are local criminals. Isn't that 31 PD's jurisdiction?
True. The Reclamation Agency supports local police, but we're also required to recover dangerous material.
From those who would do the world harm, and each of those groups is neck deep in the stuff. So what next?
Focus on a single group. Investigate, dismantle their operations, and take them down.
Meanwhile, we look for any links to the mayor's death. Either way, a dangerous organization is off the streets.
Exactly. The city wants justice for Mayor Nightingale. This is how we help them achieve it.
Tackling investigations. Every investigation has 3 stages. Groundwork. From the first mission, learn about the faction and their methods. Operations. Hidden missions that must be revealed when completed to knock out the main faction's main plans. Take down. Stop their final attack and end their threat to City 31. See, an underground religious movement. Yeah. Investigation started. No dark events. Secret Coil's propaganda is directly adapted from Advent. Their leadership must have a connection. And now we have all this opened up. Armory. This is where we can take a look at our troops. Manage weapons, armor, and other items, which we don't have. Agent abilities. Unlock new abilities by promoting agents that have earned enough XP. Agent biography. Learn more about the agent's background. Tint armor. Change the color in your agent's uniform.
The director convinced the city council we're too understaffed to be effective. This means we can bring more agents to City 31. It's not the whole squad, not yet, but it's something.
Let's see. We got Zaphyr, close quarters, high mobility. Move fast or die slow. Crippling blow. Agent punches an enemy, inflicts one of several status effects. The effect is either disarm, disorient, stun, or root. I will say this. If you're going for capture runs, Zephyr's ability will kill them until you promote her enough and get a certain skills on her. Get a certain skill that renders it non-lethal. See, Claymore. Never actually used this guy. Explosives, AoE, breaching. There is never a red wire. I am lucky if there are even wires. Shrapnel bomb. Agent throws an explosive that detonates after several turns. The explosive does not deal damage through cover. Does not deal damage through cover and can be targeted to detonate it early. Does not end the turn if used as a first action. Then locked, something you can advance. Claymore detonates a powerful charge, rupturing all enemies near the breach point. Usable on a wall breach points. 1 use per mission. Yeah, some agents can receive abilities that allow them to act as items that you would need for certain breach points. Patchwork, utility, electronic disruption. Don't worry, we can fix it. Chaining jolt, agent sends the gremlin to an enemy to jolt them. Attacks chained to nearby enemies, damage is increased against robotic enemies. She sounds like she'd be useful against Sacred Coil, who uses robotics. Hack door, hack open a door at the start of a breach. Let's see, locked. Combat scanners. The gremlin scans the room, applying hollow targeting to all enemies. Increases squad aim by plus 15 against marked enemies, 1 use per mission. I've used Zaphyr. I actually have a mod that gives her some buffs. Claymore, I'm not sure he'd be useful. I'm going for primarily capturing on enemies. Patrick could be good. Toggle biographies. Let's see. Raised communally, relocation camp, eventually moved to advanced version of an orphanage. Used as propaganda after a gene therapy clinic rebuilt her limbs. Grew disillusioned with Advent as her technical skills improved. Extracted by Xcom at the behest of an anonymous tip. Later learned to be her own. Later learned to be her own. Own what? She initially supported Xcom as an engineer on the Avenger. Transitioned to active duty after a mid-2035 loss in personnel. 24 years old. Present. Remained with Xcom, transitioning back to engineering. Joined the Reclamation Agency at the personal request of Chief Shen. Her technical acumen is a boon to Chimera Squad. No confirmed past. Scatter records suggest she was an Australian. Well, she does have the accent for it. Undergoing the hybrid amalgamation and psionic lathe procedure in 2021. Officially created in 2021. Per Advent records. Transferred to City 31. Worked as a loyal Advent soldier under the psionic network. Separated from the psionic network by the Skirmishers Resistance faction, joined Skirmishers and quickly rose in their ranks. Operated primarily in City 31's region. Fought Advent alongside Xcom for the duration of the war, was present for the fall of City 31. Left Skirmishers at the war's end, applied to the Reclamation Agency after failing to uncover her human past. Recommended to Chimera Squad by multiple Xcom soldiers she once fought beside. Let's see, fled with elder sister and father after the death of mother and brother. Raised in refugee camps, city center outskirts, and eventually resistance camps. Learned to create and defuse explosive devices, manufactured grenades for his resistance camp. Successfully defused Advent device intended to wipe out a resistance camp, which brought him to the attention of Xcom. See, Resistance Group connected him with Xcom after a mutual operation. He spent a few months on the Avenger disassembling any recovered alien explosives. Xcom kept him on as a specialist. He volunteered to join the Reclamation Agency at his first opportunity. He placed into Chimera Squad with ease. Who to pick? Let's see, I've already done Zaphyr. You know what? Let's take Patchwork. Why not?
Patchwork, when did you get in?
Not so long ago.
What's wrong?
I spec'd out a whole workshop for our field office.
Which is currently sitting in a warehouse while they finish the building. I'm sorry.
I'll be fine. I just need to find a place to tinker.
Pick any open floor space.
There's so much of it.
Let's see. Anything I don't know about? Let's see. Reprogramming. Patrick sends a gremlin to reprogram a robotic enemy and take control of them. Effect lasts for 3 turns. 4-turn cooldown if the program attempt succeeds. 1 turn cooldown otherwise. Now let's see. Verge. Here we are. Neural network. Verge gains plus 10 aim for each enemy on the neural network. Certain abilities will add units to the neural network. Nice. And I know there's some abilities I can get that can make that neural network exceedingly powerful. Let's see. Cherub. Shield bearer. Bearing shield on the battlefield improves armor. Let's see. Nothing special except for her hack door. Nothing special there. Okay. Now then.
Check it out. Headquarters sent us an assembly. And with the right patterns, we can build anything. Or we could with the latest version. What you're looking at is the extremely finicky 2038 model. It'll take time to stress test our patterns, but once we have them, we're good to go.
Yeah, this is basically our combination research/engineering. Assembly projects are how you get access to new or better items and equipment. Each project can unlock new items for XCOM supply, new weapon or armor upgrades, or a variety of other useful things. Agents assigned here decrease the time it takes to complete a project. Yeah, Illyrium is one of 3 resources Reclamation requires. It is spent to complete projects in the assembly. Now, this will normally take 2 days. If we assign an agent, I don't know, Godmother, it'll only take 1 turn. I think I'll go for that. Now, we cannot go out into the city map without a full roster, so let's get patchwork on here. We also have supply, where we can buy some things using credits. Auto keycards grants breach through a security door. Breaching charge, we already know. Ceasefire grenade disables all firearms in a large radius. Flashbang grenade. Now, I should be noted, these items cannot be used during breaching. We need to get a special assembly project for that. I don't know why. Got medkits, smoke grenades, tracer rounds, but the one I want to focus on are tranq rounds. If the target would be killed, they will be rendered unconscious instead. Unconscious units are captured at the end of each mission. Reclamation gets more intel from live captures than body counts. Agents are encouraged to incorporate non-lethal tranq rounds into their loadout. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a couple of these. These are very useful when working with Verge. Now, onto the... Investigation is basically just what we saw here. There are other things that will unlock as we progress, but... Let's see, Verge, I'm gonna give him... the tranq rounds. As you can see, we can currently only hold 1 utility item and 1 breach item. That will change as we get better armor, though. Let's see, who else? Let's see. Oh, she uses an assault rifle. Good. Let's see, 3 to 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 4. I think I'll give Terminal the tranq rounds. Now then. City map, we have a critical mission. There is a critical combat mission target available. Investigate the Sacred Coil. Credits are one of the 3 resources Reclamation requires. They are spent in supply to both buy new items and upgrade existing ones. Yeah. Now, it's also our only mission, so we can only do this one. But critical missions are basically missions you have to do today, no matter what. Unfortunately, we don't quite have the time for this. I'm trying to keep episodes within the 45-minute mark. That may change depending on how things go. But we'll see as the game goes on, because it's not like it was with regular XCOM 2 where I could just say, okay, first half of the episode's going to be me taking care of stuff around base, and the second half is going to be the mission, and then that's that. It wasn't standard, because... this is not standard. Like I said, no sitting around and waiting on the geoscape. But like I'm saying, we don't have time for this mission, so I'm gonna end things off here for today. If you guys like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications for when I upload, or to hit the straw poll link to vote for our next Let's Play. And please, leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.